So this week, there are 5 things that I thought were interesting in our little roundup for parents. The first is this summary by Charles Duhigg. He's a great journalist. He's the author of The Power of Habits. I think that's the title. And he sent this newsletter last week that I thought was just so great. And it had 3 sort of insights. The first is that students need sleep, consistent wake times, breakfast, and adventurous play. He shows the research behind each of these that really resonates, but I feel like they're like really actionable kind of insights that you could actually implement in your family. The next one was that parents can help by making or eating dinner together, setting goals, getting exercise, and making homework more fun. Again, those sound really obvious maybe, but they're just really hard to do in practice. But the way that he kind of shows the research and things like that, I thought was just really helpful and helps to just narrow in and focus on just a couple of the things that we can do every week. The last one just like felt fun, which is that it's never too late to be a student. And so for parents, I know this is something that I kind of crave when I see the kids go back to school. It's like, well, where's my school? But studies show that if parents or adults, as we get older, the more that we engage in continuous kind of learning, whether it's university level courses or it's studies show even book clubs, that can help with cognitive decline. So I don't know about you, but that felt really relevant. Next, I came across this really interesting, just like Instagram post on Terry Gross. She's this incredible podcast host and journalist of Fresh Air on NPR, and just her process for researching guests and their books and their work. I just found it super fascinating. She has this really interesting approach to dog-earing books and like whether it's on the top or the bottom. Anyways, I think the work behind the work is really interesting to always like understand different people's processes, and I thought that hers was really interesting. The next is a piece on it's okay, let them watch TV. I think screen time is just one of these really, really hard things for parents today. It's like we've been handed these things and it just encompasses so many different things. It encompasses like TV and apps and now like AI things, and there's like very little practical guidelines on how we're supposed to actually navigate any of this, a lot of which our kids get exposed to at school. And so I thought her article as a parent was really a practical way to kind of consider. There's like a bunch of research-based things. The 5 C's I thought were helpful. I printed that out for my husband and I to be able to read through. But I thought the most impactful line was, before letting them access the fire hose of algorithmic social media-based suggestions, I'm happy to let the rhythms of episodic storytelling, 3-act structure, cliffhangers, and denouements carve familiar grooves into their brains and stretch their ability to hang with a story, even if it does not offer resolution within a 10-minute clip. I thought that summarized everything, like the intuition for me on like what the girls should be able to watch or should spend their time with. Whether it is in a book form or a movie form, it is more of that sort of like first principles of like true storytelling, as opposed to just like the algorithmic slop that just is craving addiction and attention. The next is just a really quick read, but just around like reading for pleasure is on a decline. And I think it's related. I think reading, really sinking into a book feels like work sometimes, especially for the fight for our attention. And then just being aware of that, especially for us and for our kids, I think gives us the opportunity to be able to then do something about it. Reading for us definitely is a mainstay in our house, but I wouldn't even say it's like reading in a very traditional sense. We definitely surround the house with like all sorts of different books from the library, from the bookstore. We give the kids a monthly allowance for the bookstore, our independent local bookstore. But it's also that like I love travel magazines, and so that's what I got for Christmas. Or we'll listen to Audible on car trips, and we'll get the Sunday Times. Like the last Sunday of every month, there's a kids section, and so like how do we get the kids into the ritual or the habit of reading a newspaper? And so for us, it's just like having that just sort of surrounded. We'll also do stints where we'll do a family kind of book read in the evening. Used to be the way that we got them into Harry Potter, and now we're doing C.S. Lewis and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And it's just like, sometimes that's the best way to get the kids into like harder reading levels, or to jump them into the next kind of level, we've found, is to do it together. So that's been a really interesting kind of thing. And then the last one is a super fun one. But yesterday, Friday, was National Bao Day. Obviously another made up kind of commercial holiday, but I'm here for it, especially because when we lived in Shanghai, xiaolongbao were our favorite kind of delicacy, the soup dumplings. And so just some ways that you could celebrate. You can get the kids to draw. This is like a really great little tutorial. You could order them or eat them, or you could watch this really great Pixar short. It's, now probably 7 or 8 years old, but a really great kind of way, or a fun kind of thing to do for the weekend. So yeah, hope you like this week's kind of roundup. These are just things that I thought were interesting and would be a good filtered set for you.